Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hello, everyone. Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. I am your host, Jay. If you are new here, please consider subscribing and liking this video if you like what you see tonight. We have a very special guest, and I found out we have two. Steph is going to join us later, but as you guys all know from the title and the description, which you can find her social media in the description of this video, I am very, very excited and honored to have Jules on my panel. Jules is a canine handler who has donated her time, her resources, and her energy to help find Sebastian. So let me bring Jules up right now. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. It's good
Cool.
to have you on panel.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to finally put a face to, all of the texts that we've been sharing. You shared a lot of cool stuff with me today. But do you want to start out just kind of telling everybody about yourself? I know it's probably redundant at this point.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm just Ara's in the room with me, and I think she's a cat outside, so she barks. It's okay. Because she's Ara and cats. I don't know what it is.
We expected Ara to just steal the show tonight, anyways. So
Ara,
we're all good with that.
That's Ara. Right?
I love him.
This is Ara. She's got a cube. She's got this cube toy she carries in her mouth. Like if her mouth is not occupied, she's just like WTF.
I love it.
So, for those who don't know, my name is being hugged by a dog. My name is Jules. I first started getting into canine handling when I joined the military. As Ara's like tearing apart my desk right now to get her cube. Sorry, she's normally better behaved than this, but she's mad because I'm talking to somebody else.
Hey, we understand. We all have the fur babies.
Yeah. So I started off as a Army canine handler overseas. I handled an explosives dog named Dahlia. I think she's in one of the pictures I sent you actually with her quote unquote sister, Natasha. It's the one where I'm in my Army camouflage uniform with the dogs.
Not that one. I didn't get that one.
Oh, I can always resend it to you. It may have been over the text messages. But anyway, I had Dahlia when I was overseas. She was an explosives dog. She was trained on like a lot of like also rubble recovery in addition to like explosives. So like secondary explosives that would go off. So for example, like most people talk about like the primary that goes off, like if you're doing like a vehicle or like you're in like a squad marching out and you walk past the first IED. You hear a lot of talk about like the primary. I'm just gonna keep throwing the ball for her while I'm talking, so she's like occupied until she calms down. But the secondary IED, so after the first IED would go off, like I'd bring Ara back through and we would double check to make sure there's no, after EOD clears it, of course, the primary is with Dahlia, not Ara. And then when I became an officer, I wasn't allowed to handle a canine anymore because like with anything in police department ranks, the canine always outranks the handler. So you can't have a field grade a field grade canine. Like I'm a captain in the Army right now, so I can't have like my dog be a major. Like that'd be awesome. We love to have dogs making decisions, but it's not ideal. Basically, dogs don't have degrees or anything. So to become an officer in the Army, you have to have like a bachelor's degree. So I was really upset because I couldn't handle for the Army anymore. So after that, I went to my battalion commander, and he knew because I deployed by this time. I went to Afghanistan twice. I went to Kuwait. I went to Gitmo. I was really upset because I was just like, man, like I'm basically broken per the Army standards at this point. And then I was like, well, I can't even have a dog because I'm an officer, and I had this void that I just couldn't. It didn't make sense. Like I love being in the Army, but I'm like, there's something that's missing. Like I miss Dahlia. I wanted to adopt her out when I made the transition from enlisted to officer, but I was told I wasn't allowed to because at the time she was only 4 and a half. So they said she's still deployable, she's still workable. she can still be, set out on missions. So they wouldn't let me adopt her out, and I understood. That's our other guy. It's a lot of training goes into training those dogs. They're very expensive to train. It's a lot of work.
I
And
bet.
they don't. Yeah, they don't.
Look at you.
That's when I was a first lieutenant.
Thank you so
Actually,
much
yeah.
for your service too, Jules.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you.
Amazing dedication.
I do military funeral honors usually. And that was for what I do with that flag is I usually present to the next of kin. Well, there's Natasha in that army picture right there. That's Natasha. That was our other can that went over to Afghanistan with us. Yeah, and you'll see a video later on when I send that. You feel that through that sleeve. Like people think that sleeve is big and tough. It's you still feel that canine biting through that sleeve.
Do you
Like,
really? I pulled up
oh
the
yeah.
picture of his teeth. I'm like, dang.
Oh, Gator barking, that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those
Um,
chompers, damn.
yeah. Oh, there he is. The top photo. That's me with Dahlia, and that's Natasha. If
This
you go
one here?
up a bit more. Yeah, well, the flag. Okay, I'm the one on the with the darker dog. That's Dahlia right there. She's my German Shepherd. Sorry, I have no memory left on my phone, which is why like it has a little circle because I just I just screenshot my photos to send them because I have so many pictures of my dogs. But to wrap up my career real fast,
I can see why.
yeah, I became a force protection officer and anti-terrorism officer for the army, and that way my battalion commander and my brigade commander was like, "Hey, guess what you can still do?" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "You get to still work with dogs." And I'm like, "How? I can't handle a dog." It's like, "No, but you get to oversee their training and you can implement the training program." And hypothetically speaking, if you're in Gitmo and someone's nerves take a canine into the detainee cell, I mean, on paper, you know what I mean. One of those things. I'm like, I get what you're saying. So, yeah, Ara's she's yelling at me right now for my decisions. Apparently, I know.
They
So
know.
I do know. So currently, and I know a lot of people have some questions about what to do full time. Like, how can you dedicate your time to doing search while you're still in the army? So I'm AGR, which is active guard reserve. That yes, Aura. That means Monday. She just said AGR. I swear to God, she'll stop barking eventually. I swear she'll stop barking eventually. She's just fired up. Creech came in the room. So Monday through Friday, I do army stuff, and then on weekends, I dedicate my time to either helping out like police departments. Like I work with the Pennsylvania State Police a lot. I work with the Department of Defense a lot with like stuff like that. I've helped TSA at the Philadelphia airport before, like back when we like this if there's like a major NFC championship game or something like with the Eagles or like the Phillies have a World Series or something like that.
Like
They
an
bring
influx of people.
they'll bring us into the airport because a lot of people are flying in for that, or they'll send us to the ballpark and actually like work outside the ballpark. So
Cool.
again, Monday through Friday, I do like force protection, anti-terrorism work. I implement like canine training programs into the military police for the 200th MP Command. And then on weekends, I do either volunteer work or I help the DoD out. So, and I do own my own private company called Captain K9, as you probably see, the K9 Captain. It used to be called Captain K9 Pet Sitting. I used to just be a pet sitter, but then I got into detection work, so now it's the K9 Captain. And I apologize if I talk really fast. I'm Italian. It just happens sometimes.
You're good.
So,
You're good. You're totally good. Um, is there anything else you want to say about that, your background?
not that I can think of right now. I see Jackie's question. Jackie, I'm always at either Carlisle in Pennsylvania, Fort Indiantown Gap, Fig, or the Army War College. I go there a lot. Those are the sites in Pennsylvania I mostly visit. And then I do go to Fort Dix in New Jersey all the time. So those are and I go to Fort Drum, New York. Those are the ones that I primarily go to if I'm doing training. Of course, like today, I had to go to Fort Meade, Maryland, to get a new military ID, so that when I come back to Tennessee to do searches, the sheriff could properly scan my brand new ID because it was going to be expiring in like 4 months. So I'm like, why don't I just get a brand new one? I need one anyway. So I just spent all day driving to Fort Meade and then coming back here because I told my mom I'd at least see her tomorrow because she knows I'm going to be gone for the next probably week or so down there in Tennessee. So yeah, my mom and I have a very interesting relationship, but I promised her I'd be here at least for the morning tomorrow. Then she's like, "You go find that boy after that with your dogs." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am, we'll do that."
Aw.
So we'll try to at least. Hi, Aura. Yeah,
Do
you
you come from
are.
a family of military?
I've come. three of my grandparents were World War II veterans. One was Army, one was Marines, one was Navy. My other grandmother, she wasn't able to serve. She just knocked her furlough over, I'm pretty sure. She wasn't able to serve because she was apparently too short and she didn't want to be a nurse. So she would go to the VFWs or like with that, and she would sing. Or they weren't called VFWs back then; they were called something else. Where the soldiers would gather, I guess like a pub hall, and she would sing on stage for them. Which I wish I inherited that trait, but I didn't. I mean, I'd like to think I did in the shower when I'm singing, but yeah, yeah.
We have lots of questions coming in, so I'm just going to pin some of them right now, but I have one to begin with.
Okay.
Why is Ara wearing this mask? Tell us what's going on in this photo here.
Okay, so those are called rec specs for anybody who's actually seen those before. Those are used for like mostly harsher environments, but like when this was because this is the Upper Marion Police, we were I'll answer Juana's question after this. So that's with the Upper Marion Police. There was an event in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, which is where the huge mall is for anybody that knows that. And they blocked off this town center, and that was a Philadelphia Phillies like parade celebration thing for like them doing some championship thing or something. Not the World Series, but they went to some big championship game. And we were stationed there, and it was really, really sunny, and it was an open area. So those goggles, yes, it says R on it with a cool design. You can get them just plain black or just plain sunshade, but those are mostly to protect your eyes from direct sunlight when she's working out in the sun, because their
Oh, wow.
cataracts are really sensitive. Um,
How old
and
is
then
Ara?
she's 4. When I first got her, I thought she was older. Actually, I took her to the vet, and I finally got her paperwork. It took Lachlan forever to send her paperwork to me. I was just like, why is it taking so long? And then we found out she was younger than I thought she was, because we've been together for, if she's 4 now, we've been together for about a year and a half. So yeah, she was younger than, but she has the gray underneath her muzzle. But shepherds typically like will gray in that area faster than other breeds. I don't. And Marley, my female black mal, the explosives one, she's already graying there, and she's only 2.5. And it's just like it just kind of happens. But yeah, those are her rec specs, and she's got the
And
radioactive
she
symbol.
doesn't, she's used to wearing them. She knows, like,
Yeah, so
she's so cool.
Bellatrix is the only one that doesn't have goggles yet, but she's 8 months old, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
But yeah,
she'll chew
Aura,
them.
she'll try to, but she'll find a way. But Aura stands for armed and ready to assassinate. That was an acronym that they gave her, and I was like, I don't know if I can go around just like I'm like maybe I should change to armed and ready to apprehend. Like as long as it's Aura, then you're keeping her name, so whatever. And her middle name is Murphy. If anybody knows Mike Murphy, the Navy SEAL that was killed overseas, Operation Red Wings with like the Lone Survivor movie, with Marcus Luttrell. Mike Murphy was the lieutenant that was killed over there, and that's what her middle
Oh,
name is named after. So,
oh, wow.
mhm.
She's my favorite. I
she,
love
I don't,
Ara.
I'm sure any other shepherd person will understand the whining. She'll walk around for no reason, and just whine. I see someone says, "Does Ara suffer depression?" No, but she's a crybaby, I'll tell you that much. And when it's not, it's just mostly because that's the breed.
Yep.
The shepherds are very loyal, they're very protective, but they're huge crybabies. And I remember the first time I heard that was when I had Dahlia. Dahlia was anything but, oh my god, the dog. And I told the story on Web Sleuth. And when I first met Dahlia, if you've seen the movie Dog before with Channing Tatum, it
Hmm.
was literally like that. Like my NCO told me, "You're gonna learn to respect. You're gonna get an officer you're gonna respect." And I'm just like, okay. Like I was a punk back then. I didn't know any better. So walking to her little run, and she was sitting there with her muzzle on and whatnot, and it was literally just like that movie. I walked in there, I was all like cocky. I'm like, oh, I've had big dogs before. This is no big deal.
Yeah.
And then I'm walking up to her. She literally muzzle punched me right in the chest with her muzzle. Um, yeah. So someone said, I think they saw something. They're going really fast. But
I know it
everyone was
is.
saying, oh,
I'm scrolling through them
Megan,
though. I'll pin the questions for you so you don't have to worry
yeah.
about it. I'll pin the questions. Someone asked though, if you were just out and about, would they protect you automatically if harm came to you? Or if someone broke into your home, are they automatically going to, attack?
Um, so yes. So let me count. So 6, not including Bellatrix. Bellatrix probably would try to anyway. 6 of the 7 are apprehension slash patrol trains. Marley won't bite, but she punches with her muzzle, and I think it's Marley's the explosive one. She's a very emotional dog. She won't bite, but she'll muzzle punch somebody, and people think that sounds silly, but there's actually like I went to the Hold the Line Canine conference in South Carolina right before I linked up with Seth and all the first time, and they taught a muzzle fighting class, and it's not like people think it's a bunch of dogs fighting each other with muzzles. It's not what it is. It's those big leather muzzles, and it's supposed to teach like in some places like LA right now. I told somebody earlier the dog can't be on a bite for longer than 3 seconds in LA right now. So if your dog's apprehending someone, you have 3 seconds to get to your dog to get the dog off, and it's just like how like can you imagine like running like I mean I'm no Flash or Barry Allen or Quicksilver. I can't eat the dog that fast. That's why they want them to muzzle punch first, for starters, because then it's considered a
They can only hold for so long? Is that what you mean?
Yep, they can only be on the bite for 3 seconds in LA. Otherwise, it's
3
considered
seconds?
3 seconds. Otherwise, it's excessive force.
So
In
they have to
California,
be ready to apprehend and be on top of that person in 3 seconds?
no, they can only like bite the arm for 3 seconds. So after
Oh.
after they apprehend the person, because I know I sent you one of Gator's videos of him apprehending. Once they get they get a hold of the bad guy, quote unquote bad guy.
Mhm.
They have three. They can only hold on for 3 seconds. Which the bad guys are gonna fight. I say bad guys because I don't know criminals. They're gonna fight your dog no matter what. So it's just like 3 seconds. So what happens? The dog doesn't let go. The guy's probably gonna turn and just punch the dog in the face or something. So that's a goofy video. This is Marley. This is a humor video. This is my explosives canine. This is literally what she does after she finds something. This is her celebratory, whatever you want to call it. That's Marley.
So she does that all on her own, like, "I'm so happy and proud of myself," like,
That's like her. I swear, this is like
that's
her
her
victory
cel
dance.
Oh, that's so cute.
So I put out like a C4 tin for her, and it was actually over more this way, so you can't see on the camera. And she found it, and I rewarded her. And when you're rewarding dogs in training, she's ball driven, so you don't reward an explosive dog at source, which is where the odor is, because then the dog's gonna be standing there expecting a reward in real life when there's a bomb there. Narcotics,
What
you
a
can do that. I
beautiful
like,
dog. God.
yeah, oh, she's like she's a dog, but she's just like a ferret. She's so like adorable and cute. But someone watched Megan Levy. Yeah, Megan Levy actually lives not far from me in King of Prussia. She lives in New Jersey actually. So she's a vet tech over there now. Rex in that movie, the German Shepherd, reminds me of my first my first owned shepherd aside from Dahlia, because Dahlia was my first shepherd Soot that I owned personally. Rex had him and Megan's relationship. That was me and Soot from the get go. This is what the bark and hold. This is what a bark and hold is. So if your dog doesn't do the 3 second bite, this is what your dog has to do. So this is on a Schutzen field, and actually the guy with the hat's my friend Mike that I work with a lot. He owns a company called Battery K9 Detection Services. So this is a bark and hold, what this dog is doing right now.
So he's just keeping them at bay until they can come
Yes.
grab them.
I can't tell if it's that you can't. It looks like no. That's Kaiser. So what he's doing right now is this works for this. And the reason why I sent this to you is because people probably hear bark and hold, and I just want to explain what it is. So this works in the sport world. This is Schutzhund, which is called IGP now. So the dog runs a search through all the blinds in the field. The helper is in the last blind, so the dog has to run in front. And what he was doing, the bouncing and plays and barking, that's what the dog does until, and you don't see it, but the actual handler that's in the field comes walking around and stands next to like and calls the dog back. In LA now, since it's only 3 second bites, they're eventually going to phase to this for actual police dogs. But can you imagine if that was an actual criminal like hiding in a building, a dog's doing that? I mean, what do you think he's going to do?
Oh my god. What
Um,
if he makes a move? What is the dog trained to do if he starts to move one way? Is that when he latches on?
yeah. So if like that's when the dog will latch on. For sport work, like so that's my that's ours one trainer Pat that's in the blind right now with being the helper. So what he does is he lifts the sleeve up a little bit and then the dog jumps up and bites the sleeve. That's like Schutzhund sport work is a little bit different, but I just wanted to show what a bargain hold was.
I think it's cool. I mean, I wouldn't wanna move a damn muscle, I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much.
Oh my god, we had this one dog, Rennie. She's like a tiny little coyote looking dog. She's a German Shepherd, and I'm like, she's so adorable. But like her handler was going to nationals for GSDCA, which is German Shepherd Dog Clubs of America, and we were practicing with ours. We're all hiding the blinds with sleeves, and this is Gator doing a search for fentanyl in Atlantic City. This is a training one. And then Brittany, when she came running around, she was standing there barking right in front of me. I love that dog. She's so tiny. She's so cute. But geez, like when she's standing right in front of me, barking in my face, and like I'm just like, now I understand why. Like, um, okay,
Yeah,
I respect.
for sure.
Yeah,
So this is looking for fentanyl?
yeah. This is a training scenario. So the reason why I sent you this was because you'll notice, even though he stops to sniff, I keep moving my feet. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm waiting for like an official commitment from him to sit, and he's going to do it here when he walks up to the paper towel dispenser.
That's when he tells
Um,
you he's found something, he sits down at it?
yep, you see the little block in there actually. Yep.
Wow. He's like, "There it
So
is, mom."
yep. So that's his reward. So I don't know if you could see it, but like I said, I don't stop moving my feet, even if I'm just like walking back and forth in place until he sits down. And then what I do is, and you can't see it on camera, I take his leash and I kind of pull it to one side and pull it to the other to see if he moves. If he moves, that means he's not fully committed. If he sits and he won't move, if I do the leash a little right or left, that means there's something there. And that's called he's on target. You see on target odor right there. So yeah, he's gonna sniff. So
It's in there.
in the beginning, I don't know if you saw when he was first going around the one corner, his mouth was actually open a bit when he was sniffing. So
Mhm.
he's air scenting. So what he's doing is he's filtering it all. He's gonna do it once he goes around this corner, I think is when he does it. Yeah, when he's going on the side here. Yeah, right there. Did you see his mouth is open?
I
So
did, yeah. They
they're like, oh,
actually taken the scent in their mouth as well?
they're like, oh, he's panting. I'm like, no, what he's doing is he's trying to get he
Wow.
knows the odor is close because it's kind of like diagonal from where that paper towel is. But
So he's
he
trying to get
knew,
more. Mhm.
yeah. So and that's why, yep. See, there's the commitment right there. You can kind of see me
That's
maybe
amazing.
moving the leash a bit. Yeah. So
So how
that
long I
was
see this coming up a lot. How long does the scent last so that it can be tracked or traced?
yeah. So I
Um,
know I saw it come up a couple times too, but I wasn't sure how soon. Because I know it's gonna be asked a couple times throughout
it
how
is, and
the
I'm sure
people
when
coming
Steph
in.
comes up, she'll have, a lot to say about the scents and how her dogs
Yeah.
grab the scent and stuff. But no, go ahead. I mean, like as far as Sebastian, let's talk about Sebastian in particular, right? Because it's
Okay.
been how many days now? 70, I don't even know. But I mean, being that,
Okay.
that Steph got a scent at Sebastian's house, do you think that that same scent would still be there?
I mean, the same track. I really don't think a live track is gonna be unless he's actively out walking around in the woods right now still. So this is
Mhm.
gonna be a bit scientific, so I apologize, this is boring to some people. So,
No, not it's not boring at all.
yeah, so and I hate saying this, but it's honestly all dependent on the quality of the dog, the breed, the amount of training it's done, the amount of time it's done it for. There's so many factors that go into it, but I would say at this point, for that exact same track that Step was on, unless he's walked it again recently, I'm gonna say he's I would say he's got to look for like a live track elsewhere. Because if what was said was like true by like TBI, the Sumner County, and everyone who told me, if that many dogs were there within 48 to 72 hours, that would have been the most crucial time to pick up a live track. At this point, and this is why, so from the house directly, on live track, Steph's bloodhounds might be able to, bloodhounds do sniff better than males and shepherds do, and that's just a breed thing. It's just the way like their structure is. Just like some people can lift a lot better and whatnot than like other people can. Like it's all structure and breed dependent. For my dogs, I want to think they're superheroes, but I'm going to be honest, my dogs are amazing, but they're not crypto, whatever Superman's dog is with that stuff. So the same live track for my dogs is probably not going to happen. Now, if I take an article of clothing and someone asks what I use, I like using shoe insoles, and that's
Mhm.
because Sebastian, if we took an insole out of a shoe, um, he's direct. Here's Gator doing an apprehension on a decoy right here. Watch when he jumps up and grabs the shoulder, he shakes his head. That's like the famous death shake that Malinois do. Um, you'll see him do it right here. So he's that's Gator right there. Yeah,
Holy shit.
I know. It kind of cuts off really fast, but that's Gator doing an apprehension
I'm
right
gonna
there. And
actually play it slower. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
yeah, no, you're fine. There's one on the baseball field in the baseball field. I think I sent you two. That's a better one. But yeah, he watch him shake his head, guys, when he's up on the decoy shoulder. He literally does like the death shake while he's midair on the decoy. You'll see him do it here. See how he's shaking his head? Yep.
Jesus, yeah, before he even
That,
grabs them.
that's Gator. So
Woo! I wouldn't put him on my tail.
La la la
so in
la
regards to
la.
like
You don't hold
this
a
is why
cow.
we take an article with us. So, like out in the field. So if like someone says we think he's in this area, I'll take an article of clothing with me and I'll present. Gator's my live tracker and my fugitive apprehension tracker. So I'll just an
So,
artist
you
might.
definitely are taking Gator to Tennessee.
I'm gonna take both of them. I mean, somebody asked me before, like, how many dogs do you take with you? And like, two is typically what I wind up taking, depending on what it is. I mean, I don't need to bring Marley or Loki because I don't need an explosives dog to come down in Tennessee. This is not like an explosives detail. I'm bringing Gator and R because Gator, I know Gator can do live tracking. He's a patrol dog because if people really are following people, I'm gonna have my patrol dog with me. You can guarantee. And then also he does narcotics. And like I said, my original intent was bringing Gator into the house as a narcotics dog, and he does evidence too, like lithium batteries. So I want to bring Gator in the house to see, like, if he finds sorry, I saw something that popped up. It's just, yes, smart. He's very, very smart.
We want Gator to bite CP in the ass.
Oh God, I don't want to comment on that right now.
You don't have to.
But we you made me talk about like ass biting and stuff like that. Now I lost my train of thought. You'll have to, if you don't mind, you have to play the baseball field one. I think I sent that to you.
Yeah, let
But
me see.
I wanted to bring Gator into the house to trap for like narcotics. So he can do pharmacy drugs. So we searched rehabs. He's found Adderall that people have hidden. He's found Xanax in facilities. He's found all kinds of stuff. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people when in Pennsylvania he's allowed to search people. Like he can walk up to someone and search them for drugs, like personnel searches. In like New Jersey, you need a barricade in between think
This
the
one,
COVID
Jules?
rules. No, it's him searching a car, but because I'll have to comment on this one because he does
Okay,
something.
it's him searching a car. All right, hold on. Keep
Yeah.
going.
Pharmacy drugs. Yeah. So like in New Jersey, think back during COVID when people used to get their pictures taken with celebrities. There was like that glass wall kind of in between them, basically. Like, and people say, "Yes, honey bun, I'm Jules." So what people think is like, oh, there's glass there. Is it still accurate? Yes, it is. If you go to the White House, anyone here who's gotten a White House tour before, there's so many steps you go to before you get inside the building. And one of the things they do is you go in the room one at a time, and there's like a fence with a glass wall, bulletproof glass, and there's a handler with a cane on the other side. And you will watch the handler walk the dog up to the glass. The dog sniffs you and opens its mouth and does like the little teeth chattering thing, and then he walks away. And then yeah, I can comment on this video real quick unless you want me to keep continuing first because
No, I'm still looking for the other one. So, do you want
yeah.
to comment on this one? Actually, I just took it down, didn't I? Where'd it
Oh,
go?
I might be delayed actually because I still see it. Um, but so like in Jersey, like the barricade and whatnot, they can still send through it. And people like when they're doing like yes, mouths do that teeth chatting thing you probably see all over Instagram, and then people will do like the audio. So he's searching a car here. So real quick, I'll just comment on this, and I won't lose my train of thought. So you can play it. So watch him walk up to the car. He goes past the first tire, the second tire, but then watch the head snap, and that's so he walks past it, and now watch his head snap. He kind of snaps back for a second because like he realizes he's an odor. Yep, see right there, there's the head snap. So he was starting to go back this way because he knew he was an odor, so he ran along the side of the car. He knew something was here. That's why he only stopped at the back of the car because normally he'll go all the way around if nothing's there.
He won't
So,
stop. He'll just make his way around.
yeah, if there's nothing there, he'll go all the way around. But you watch him. I don't tell him to stop. He stops.
So,
on his own.
at that point he may turn around and come back because there's something he passed.
I'm just constantly moving my feet just because. And this is where he did this himself. Like he could fit back there easily. He's done it so many times before. So right there, there's the head snap right there. So he was kind of going towards like the front of the car again. Then all of a sudden he turned his head.
His
He
eyes.
realized
It cracks me
And
up how he looks side-eyed.
he is nuts. I mean, I love Gator. Yeah,
Look at him. Look at him. He's like, I got it.
he's waiting for me to reward him.
Give me that ball.
Yeah, so he was letting me know, like, it's here. I ain't freaking moving. That's what he was doing.
I love him.
I know he's my good boy. He's Gator. He was the other night. I was with him and he was like rolling on the bed and stuff. I'm like, Gator, what are you doing, buddy? And they're all goofy in their own way. But back to
yeah.
back to.
I need
Sorry,
to find that. I'm gonna check my phone. Where'd my phone go? Here it is. I think
but,
I might have missed one of your videos because I don't see one of him actually. I
I
don't
can
see
always
that one.
I can
Let
always
me
resend it.
check.
But what was I? So for like we were talking about how long a scent lasts.
Yeah,
Yes, you can train any dog to do this. Actually,
I got
Rhonda.
it.
It all depends on commitment. Age really so much isn't a huge thing, but I mean, any dog can be trained to become a detection dog, but not all dogs are cut out to it, if that makes sense. So you can, there's no breed like I saw, what was it? It was a little like wired-haired terrier or something, and when this
La
dog
la
That
came
one?
la
out,
la la.
no,
You
that's
don't know
Ari
the count.
doing obedience. I
Girl,
like how I know.
girl,
I
you got
sorry.
my phone filled up.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't be sorry. I love this. Are you kidding me? Oh, here
Yeah,
it is. Is it in like a baseball? Like a,
yeah.
I don't know,
What?
like in
So
a, looks like a
yeah, it's a
baseball
baseball.
field, but that's not what it
Yep,
is, right?
with a orange. Yeah, a
I
baseball
found
field with
it.
an orange marshmallow man. Um,
Yep,
we
I
call it the
just found
orange
it.
tube disc.
So who is that? That's
Someone
one of your,
that was a decoy. That was like we have decoys that go to like a special school because honestly, a lot of dogs get injured. Like when he bites the guy's sleeve, you'll watch how the decoy turns around to like go with him because the decoy just so they're static with the dog's gonna run up and it's gonna like bend its neck back, and that's I've seen canines get really really hurt from improper
so these
catches.
dudes are like trained to even do this, like
There's a
before they can,
decoy certification class you have to go through. I think you have to.
you're
I
kidding.
can't. In the army, it's a bit different, but I do. So Schutzhund for future references.
Damn.
Schutzhund's just the sleeve. The guy in the blind where you just the sleeve. That's Schutzhund IGP. Um, if you see somebody with just a top on like this guy has, that's usually a patrol certification, and a decoy that wears a full suit, that's usually PSA, which I forget what PSA stands for, but it's basically like street fighting, defense. They do the carjacking scenarios. Um, but yeah, so let me go back. So someone talks about like dogs. So to answer that question that Rhonda asked, you can train any breed. I saw a wired-haired terrier, and we all laughed at it when it came walking out. It was literally like a 15-pound dog that came walking out all derp derp. And we were just like laughing our asses off, me and the other handlers. And the instructor literally said, "This dog's about to put you all to shame." And we're just like, okay. It was an explosives canine. My God, this dog, I've never seen a little dog be so like efficient and quick, and it was so excited. And it was just incredible watching this little dog work. I'm just like, how is this little dog like? And you don't expect it. You think like Labradors. Well, I mean, I could ask the chat like, what's the first dog you guys think of when you think of like search and rescue or detection work? I'm just curious to see how many people say like bloodhounds or shepherds or Labradors. I just honest answer.
Oh, let's
Oh
do a
God,
poll. Let's do a poll and see because I think instantly of German Shepherds myself.
yeah. Oh, Caroline. Someone mentioned Caroline bear dogs. Those are scary. For people that don't know, Caroline bear dogs are literally for the purpose of like keeping like deterring bears. Like they're those dogs like is it the Rhodesian Ridbacks trained for like lions, like keeping lions away from like like out there. And like I don't know if they hunted lions, if they were just a deterrent. Maybe if somebody in chat has a Rhodesian, they can answer that. I thought they were like more so like a deterrent, but they may have hunted them. Um, but anyway, going back to like somebody asked about odor and how long it's going to last, and I'm sorry that I don't like giving full committed hour by hour answers when it comes to detection work because it honestly depends on the dog. I can tell you that they're 91% accurate when it comes to search and rescue. But like the average median is 91%, 92%. But the big variety is like 75 to 100% overall, but it's mostly 91. The 75 to 100 is dependent on experience of the handler, experience of the dog. It depends on if you've trained in like rain or snow or like if you've done rubble searches. Because every search counts as a statistic, right? So if your dog's never done like, a rubble search before and suddenly that canine has assigned like 10 rubble searches, it's a statistic. So it all really depends on, that's why like if it were raining outside, I'd be like, all right, we're gonna go outside and we're gonna go do like tracking. Cause I don't, and I mentioned this before, I don't ever want to have to tell a parent, like I couldn't do a search because, it was raining outside. Like you don't want to ever tell a parent that. So that's why it's just like, and some of the
Have
things
you
are different
ever
between,
searched for missing kids before?
I have for missing kids. R is my first cadaver dog, but ours my first cadaver dog, but I've searched for missing kids before. I've searched for missing pets before. My one neighbor Kay, I don't know if I shared it on my Gator. I don't know if I shared it on my Facebook page, but my neighbor Kay, before during the Riley strain when that first started, I remember because I was watching the news. My neighbor Kay next door started calling me frantically, saying like she lost her little. He's like a little some kind of terrier thing, named Teddy, and she couldn't find him. And I was like, okay, so, and this is funny. So I took Gator, I started at her house. I'm like, she give me a blanket at first. I'm like, okay, a blanket's great, but she's another dog. I'm like, do other dogs ever carry this around? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I need something more exclusive to him. Do you have I have the name Gobi, by the way. It reminds me of like the Gobi Desert, if that's what it's supposed to be. Um, and then I took his collar, I gave it to Gator, and immediately Gator put his nose down. I have Someone said I have a strong accent. I think I'm just Italian and I talk fast, so I apologize. But I guess I have a Philly accent. Um, and so
I
Gator
can't
has a
help but notice how he lunged at him and
yeah,
like tore up this dirt in the air. Like
and his
that
tail's
is
wet too.
he lunged
If
from so far away.
you
Damn.
watch if you watch like his tail's wagging when he's spinning, he's happy that like that's his prisoner, that's his prize. Like the reward is apprehending the decoy. And sorry, I get amped up. I could talk this all. I love detection work, and apprehension stuff. Obviously,
I
that's
love
the fun
hearing
fun
it.
stuff.
So I mean, keep going.
I lost. We were talking about.
Okay, so what would be the plan for the dogs to search for Sebastian if it's been over 2 months?
Well, Seth told me he does have shoe insoles still that I could go back and I could get from him, and that's fine. I mean, I would prefer something from Chris and Katie's house because he stayed there more recently. But I understand especially right now with all the stuff going on. I want a shoe insole because again, he's been sweating into that shoe. I doubt Seth or Katie pulled the insoles out of his shoes and washed them every night. But I mean, they wash his clothes, which means like it's kind of like a touch DNA situation. There's going to be multiple people touching that. And that's why I want something as exclusive as I can get to. And then I want to start, even if I can't go in the house, maybe start in the neighborhood and just, I know it's not likely that track will be found at this time period. Um, so, Bama girl, he talked to both of us, but he talked to Steph in person. He talked to me on the phone. Um,
Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
I'll just briefly touch on it right now. I mean, I don't want like without getting argumentative. Basically, the result is like, no, I'm not to search the house. We've been denied. TBI, yes, TBI did clear me. There's screenshots I know everywhere of like, and I'm fine with that because it's the truth. There's screenshots everywhere of that being there, about me being approved by Bobby from TBI, Agent Simmons. I spoke to the sheriff on the phone. He was cool with me. But ultimately, it's Chris's decision and Katie's decision because of the homeowners. And the reason why that is I'm not employed by Sumner County. I'm not one of their deputies, and I'm not employed by TBI. Even though I'm federally contracted or the DoD. Um, I'm not one of their officers, so I'm considered an outside agency. It's a liability thing with them. It's just like, what if like I were to walk in and slip and fall and hit my head? Like then they're that's most. It's that more so because they told me I was cleared. They're like, you have a DoD security clearance, um, and like all that stuff. So
It looks like Shepherd won, by the way. 52% of people in chat think of a
really
shepherd first and then a
wow.
bloodhound. Mhm.
I'm surprised because I'm so used to I would think, a bloodhound as a kid, I would think that too. I always think that bloodhounds and plus like people were having, no, that's not a deputy sheriff for Sumner County. I think he's Jackson. I think that's where he's at. I think he's like 45 minutes away, I'm pretty
I think
sure.
it's Davidson County.
Davidson, okay, maybe it's
Davidson.
Jackson Township or something, but I know that's the wait, that's something else. Sorry, I was thinking of something else, other city. This is fun. But yeah, he's not Sumner County because thanks, Caroline. Um, I don't take
I
compliments
have a
very well.
question for you. Okay.
Mhm,
So we heard on this dispatch audio that there was a scent from the house down to that retention pond for Sebastian,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
Now, could it be possible, like, if somebody wanted to, like, set something up or kind of, maybe throw off a trail that they could hand if they took the item from Chris and Katie because they were treating it as a runaway. So
mhm,
naturally, they're gonna say, "Hey, give us something of Sebastian's," whatever.
right.
And if Katie picked the item, let's say, and it was really not Sebastian's, could it follow I mean, would that be a way that it could trip that up? If she were able to give the item and it wasn't his, and someone else had walked that path and it followed that path, and they were like, "Oh my
Mhm.
god."
I
'Cause
mean, yeah,
I'm just wondering
most,
about that because they asked what size shoe. They saw
yeah,
shoe prints down there.
most. So most live tracks, it's a point A to point B type of if you're going from like your known point A spot and you're going out. Um, if it was an item Sebastian never touched and only hypothetically it's something only Katie touched and she gave it to like the dog would more than likely sniff that and it would just probably redirect it to Katie if Sebastian's never touched it before. Because if it's like her like phone or her flashlight or her something. Um, Grammy, yes. That's up to the sheriff, honestly. This is the sheriff, but yes, that's yes. I'll leave. That's a thing.
That's
It's
a
still a
thing you
good.
can do is get deputized. What does that mean exactly? I don't know what
Um,
that means.
Basically, it's not like something like some states any civilian can do it, but basically, I would go to the sheriff and I would request, "Can you? I'm requesting to be deputized." He'd ask why. I would explain my credentials. He wants proof that I've done something military related or police related, and I've been an MP for 15 going on 16 years now. So it's been a long time. Those dates, that's 15 to 16, I would say, because I had like a brief, like 3 month period I was out, but technically it's not considered a break in service, but like papers were is weird in the military. But he would look at that because I have my graduation certificate, which is one of the documents he actually already has because I sent it over. Um, and it's equivalent to the Act 120, which we have here in Pennsylvania, which is like the police academy. Um,
Were you able to talk to the officers more than just the main investigator, Bobby? Any of them that were out there with dogs to kind of kind of pick their brains or anything like that?
no, I just talked to somebody from what is it, the whatever the
Equisearch?
Equi search, yeah, or like them, and like it was interesting. The sheriff was fine. Truth to like the sheriff was fine with me. Coming out there, he was cool with me. Oh
The
God,
sheriff
this.
was cool too. So Bobby at the TBI was all about it, and Eric Craddock was cool with
Yeah,
it too.
yeah. But originally I think they forwarded my paperwork to Carter, and I think he's the deputy sheriff. And then they forwarded it to Eric Craddock, and I think somebody actually said they messaged him asking like, was I denied? And I think somebody in one of the Facebook groups said they called him or messaged him asking if I was denied, and apparently they said no. I don't know if that's I think what I read. I don't remember, but I remember thinking somebody was saying they were going to ask him. But I'm fully transparent. I got nothing to hide.
It's
And
really refreshing to see someone, who is who they say they are,
mhm.
and not afraid to show their face and talk about it. I've seen a couple comments like that because on YouTube we never know what we're getting here. As you can see, it can get to be a little bit crazy around here.
Yeah, and
We
it's
try
just
to
like
keep that to a minimum.
Yeah, and like I don't like arguing with people, and I'm not gonna lie, and like I even like openly admit this. Like at first, when I heard the 25% comment, I was really angry because, and I don't even 100%. I can't explain why. Just I was just angry because just like I guess because like I was raised, like about lying and whatnot. Like and just like I don't know. It's just like I'm horrible, especially when it comes to like, hey, let's surprise birthday party. People cannot tell me there's a surprise birthday party because I don't like lying to people because if that person who's the birthday party is for asks me something, I'm gonna get like and it's funny because like I'm an MP and I work with human behavior and whatnot. Oh my god, I can't do it. I don't know why. It's an Italian Irish Catholic guilt thing. I don't know what it is, but I can't do it. So I'm like, if there's a surprise, shh, don't tell me. But I saw a couple questions pop up and go away. Yeah, Akira, yes, I'm going.
Do you ever assist the PADOC?
The what? Oh, the
The
PA Department of
Pennsylvania
Corrections.
DOC? Mhm.
Sorry, yeah. Yes, I have Montgomery County. I've assisted before. Chester County's weird. They had that whole thing with the Danilo Cavalcante inmate that ran away. They actually got rid of we call them the donut dogs. Those are dogs that are they're deemed too dangerous to go like to a home, so they're called the donut dogs. And how that works is like there's the inmates, and then there's like an outer fence. There's another outer fence, and those dogs roam this like little perimeter thing because like you're not you're not getting out if there's dogs, the donut dogs there. But I guess they don't they don't have them anymore because again, dogs biting people is too mean. But the way I view it is, so is murder. Murder's mean. So I mean, hey, you kill somebody if you get bit by a dog. It's the way you're you know. Someone do you speak different languages to your dog? Yeah.
Different
Gator and
languages, really?
yeah, Gator and Loki are trained in Czech, and Ara, Soot, Marley, Bellatrix, they're all trained in Duke. They're trained in German. So that's
Damn.
um yeah, Gator came to me trained
Smart.
in Czech, and I did not know really anything about Czech to be honest. I was just like, I don't know Czech. I was like searching whatnot. The reason why I got Gator was originally a Department of Corrections dog in Arizona, and his handler was getting really really sick. And like the Gator was still young enough to be like still work, but his handler was really attached to him. He wound up he's got Crohn's disease and some form of blood cancer. He retired. They let Gator go home with him, but he couldn't care for Gator anymore. But Gator was still considered a K9. So I found out about him through like a mutual connection, and they're like, "Hey, you can adopt him from the state of Arizona for $1. I think maybe $5 or something." So I paid that, and then he came out here, and then like I've been communicating with his former handler. His former handler is really really sick, but he's really really nice. His name is John. Pray for John tonight. He's going through a hard time right now, especially with like the holidays are rough. The summer's gonna be rough for him. But it's just Gator's. I can't take credit for all of Gator's training. Honestly, Gator was trained when I got him to be like. I put him on fentanyl, and stuff. I put him on like pharmaceuticals, like Adderall, Xanax, all that. I put him on pharmaceuticals. He was already on the big five when I first got him, which are marijuana, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamines, and MDMA. So those are the big five. And I'm in Phoenixville. Oh, holy crap! You're like Phoenixville, PA. You're like 20 minutes from King of Prussia, where I used to live. I live in Hamburg now. I just told everyone where I live, but whatever. It's probably on Facebook or somewhere. Um, but and I got distracted because I saw a shiny object.
It's okay. I'm
Oh,
gonna
we don't.
answer this question, though. CP
Mhm.
didn't want the dogs to search. He didn't give a reason. He just said denied.
Yeah, there wasn't. He even said my credentials checked out, and just like
Did you think that maybe you would connect with him on a military vet level?
we
I mean, that's
actually
kinda
did.
shocking that you didn't,
And I think that's why I was so mad, honestly, because like CP Six Ball. Okay, that's an
especially with
interesting
both
name.
of them being vets, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, so this is 2 days after that Web Sleuths interview. Sorry, I don't mean to announce, but like it was after the interview. And then we talked on the phone, and initially when it first started, I was like, "Hi," and he was like, "Hey," and there was, like, quiet for 15 seconds. I'm like, "So, you wanna hear about my dogs?" And then, like, I started talking, and, like, we talked for, like, an hour and 15 minutes. He said an hour and a half. I thought it was an hour and 15, but good tomato, tomato. Um, and we talked about stuff outside of, like, canine stuff because I really didn't want him to think, like, right out the gate I was gonna attack him because I know he saw my angry comment. He said that to me in a message. He's like, "Someone sent your comment to me." I think it was with the 25% thing, but I didn't want him to think that, like, you know, I was just like, no. So I didn't want him to think I was attacking him. So I mean, we had a conversation about he's been deployment wise. I don't want to say it just because he doesn't want me to say it and like whatnot. We talked. We talked about what he did, what I did.
Mhm. Oh, so you did connect on that level.
Yeah, we did, and I think that's why I was so upset when, like, he said I was denied, and then, like, the whole, like, "Oh, that ain't happening, not even my idea." I'm like, "That's not what I
Mm.
remember," and I was like I kinda was, like, crushed by it a bit, and I was just like, "Okay," and I think that's why I was, like, so, like, angry initially and, like, probably a little too emotional on
He
Facebook,
made
and
you
I
jump
openly
through hoops. I mean, you and Steph. Look what he did to Steph.
Yeah, and I mean, I understood, like, to his yeah, I would be someone's like, "Can you blame yourself for being skeptical?" Yeah, I mean, like, I don't blame him for wanting my credentials. I want credentials too.
Right, right.
But it was the fact that it was, like, a week and 2 days later, I finally heard back. It's just like, "Where's, like what are you doing with my stuff for, like, a week?" 'Cause I sent my military ID over there, and, like, I don't normally send it to anybody. Um but yeah, why does somebody want to see my DD-214s? I don't need to send them my DD-214 unless you're talking about Katie and Chris because my social security number's on that and I'm still actively serving. So I only have DD-214s like post deployments. So it's just like I'm still serving. So I don't have like
Mm.
unless you're talking about Chris and Katie. Um I was gonna say like I don't know, like I don't put that document out there to anybody. The only person who's ever seen that is the DMV when I got my driver's license with the little veteran thing
He wanted
on my
that?
thing. No, so I saw in the chat about seeing somebody's D214s, and I hope they weren't talking about me, because I
Oh,
was like, "No, I don't s d first of all, like, I'm not searching your house, so, d yeah, and second of all, just no, and
La la
yes,
la la la. You don't know the
Sunflower, if you're in
count.
the service, you know how important your cat card is, and it's just, like, I was really trying to prove, like, I have nothing to hide, you can like, this is how upfront I'm being, like, here's my military ID, um so that's why, th th continuing with Steph, I didn't know Steph until, I did the interview with Jay actually when I talked and she came in afterwards, so I never met her before. We weren't, like, in the same geographical areas at the same time, so it was oh, okay. Okay, Misty, that's fine, you went there. I thought you meant me at first. I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." Oh, my dog's DD-214. I mean, they have it's a different form, it's not called a DD-214, it's called something different for dogs, but yeah, I don't ever cat, you're right, I don't show the only person who's seen my DD-214 is the DMV, because I got that veteran thing for my license, and when I joined a VFW, um, I had to submit it for that to prove that I've actually deployed overseas, um, and yeah, it's
oh, this is a good question. Since fentanyl is so deadly, is there ever a fear that when Gator is sniffing, he could get any on him, especially if in powder form? I don't think it's a stupid question at all. There's never any stupid
it's not a
question.
stupid question. I actually was gonna bring it up here to show you guys, so whenever Gator and I go out,
Mhm.
um whenever I take yes, Joanna, whenever I take Gator out doing a search, I have 3 Narcans on me. 2 are for him and 1 is for me. And it's not a dumb question because I've seen canines literally like in like just sniffling burrow their face and stuff, and then they start to seize or whatever happens. And it's scary. So
Poor
I keep
babies.
yeah. So, but that's not a stupid question. I'll tell you this much. I was searching a rehab facility. I got a call the night before. It was, like, probably 11 o'clock at night, and my phone's typically on or, and yeah, Bama girl, you can buy Narcan on Amazon actually, like, or you can go to, like, a pharmacy. Because I remember back when I was really talking to the Cajun Navy when I first was coming down, I asked them, like, "Do your local pharmacies will they give me Narcan if I present, my dog certificate?" He told me, this is Todd, he told me, "Yeah, they'll give you Narcan." So your pharmacies will have it. But with the fentanyl, so I got a call at like 11 o'clock at night, and it was the orderly or the head lady or whatever she was called, and she's like, "Oh, we had a heroin OG last night. We want to." They don't tell the people when I'm coming in, obviously, because they get a chance to hide stuff. So they told me like, "Can you come in tomorrow morning?" And I said, "Yeah." There was a heroin OD at like 11 o'clock at night. Well, they called me at 11, so it's probably a bit before that. I get to the facility in the morning. I got there, I think between 7 and 7:30. I was trying to think of traffic, and I'm walking up the door, and she meets me outside. She's like, "Hey, we had another OD last night," and I was like, "For heroin?" She's like, "No, this is a fentanyl one," and I was just like, "Oh, okay." And so they were doing a random drug test, obviously, that morning after that. But I don't want them to tell me, and people might think this is weird. I don't want the orderlies or the nurses to tell me this is the room where it happened in, unless like there's like somehow Gator would have missed something if it had an off day, which he doesn't. Gator's pretty on point, but I have seen narcotics dogs either get a residual hit, which means there was something there and now it's gone. Like especially with drawers, where people like put like weed in their socks and stuff like that, but then they take it out or hide it. Weed's really potent, so we'll know that. But like obviously for training purposes, I've seen dogs kind of walk out of the room, but I don't want them to tell me what room it was in, and that's because I don't want to like intentionally put emphasis on, and that's why some handlers and dogs fail. Is like if a handler gets some information like, oh, there's something in this room, and that's kind of where people get the narrative of like, oh, cops are planting things, or it's because literally, oh my God, Rosebud, you know who Bane is? I love Bane.
I don't know who Bane is, but I saw that and
he's
I'm like, R.I.P.
yeah.
Bane.
We're gonna do a baseball card exchange actually. Can Officer Bane, I don't think we exchange baseball cards. We get baseball cards for dogs. It's funny. So we're exchanging baseball cards. But anyway, so I didn't want to know where it was at. So Gator like was like walking on the room and all, and like it was the most drastic, like you saw in the video that head turning. This is the most drastic thing he ever did. Like he beelined through like this dresser, and like he was sniffing, like going like doing this like weeding thing, and finally he sits and just stares at this drawer, and he was staring insistently. And like we opened the drawers and whatnot, and like there was something in there, and I'm thinking, oh my God, did he just false alert? And then he starts like kind of pawing at it. And he's a narcotics dog, so he's allowed to do this. And I'm like, what are you doing? So the orderly pulled the entire drawer out instead of just like out of the dresser and looked underneath, and sure enough, there were still fentanyl pills that were taped underneath. Gator knew it was there. So it was just I was just like, oh, okay. So and that was the first fentanyl find I had in person, and that was just like I knew it was a big thing. I knew it was real. I never doubted it. But like the reality of knowing that somebody died in that room that morning, and you know, I'm sorry for your I'm sorry for your loss. Cat's name's Karen. It's it's a big problem right now. So a lot of canines are trained up. But to answer that question, it's long winded. I always carry Narcan with me, and yes, it's always a concern. Just like you worry about your dog even when you're out doing a search. Now, people ask me, what if there's like a peanut butter sandwich or whatnot in the rehab? Like in a rehab facility, it's very quick. They kind of grab them and like take them out when like we're doing searches of the rooms, and then we go search people. In Pennsylvania and Jersey, we can't search people. Remember? So they leave their food out and everything like that. And Gator's my first narcotics dog. I've only ever done explosives dogs before, so I didn't know what he was going to do. What the first time I started to rehab and there's food out, he didn't even care. He just kind of like walked around and sniffed and stuff like that, and like so it's called like I wanted him off of it. Like I didn't want him to like so like when I'm doing training scenarios, I use distractor odors for like my dogs. So like those silver paint cans from Home Depot. What I do is I'll put like I just got my DEA license recently, finally, after a year and a half of waiting, so I can get actual product. I'll put and it's brand new. I'll put it inside like the Home Depot silver paint can. I'll drill some holes in the top. And I was gonna like do a video of this, but there wasn't enough time today with my ID stuff. You put a big circle of like the odors and 15 of them. And then there's Gator. He's barking in that picture. Someone asked if he was yawning. I'm like, I mean, if you want him to be yawning, because it sounds
I like to
scary.
prefer that he's biting, like he's wanting to bite. I
So
love it.
He was
He's like,
barking.
yay! He's like,
So
yes.
that was a slow mo That was a slow mo. That was a slow mo video that somebody took for me, and
you're so tiny. I can't ignore the fact that you are
I know.
tiny
I feel
but
so.
mighty, and I love it. I
I
absolutely
know.
love it.
Yeah, the
Chris
chompers.
Proudfoot was intimidated by you. He
I mean,
knew he knew that
I
you knew
gave
your
him,
shit, you know?
I gave him all my social media handles. I'm like, here's this. Like, you can look me up. Like, sent him everything too. So, Akira, I thought I answered that, but maybe you didn't hear me because there's a lot going on. I said that yes, I'm gonna request it. I mean, that doesn't mean he's gonna say yes, but I'm gonna request it from the sheriff. Um, but I lost my train of thought. We were talking about Gator and rehabs. Oh, the paint can thing. So I'll put up the 15 cans with the holes in the top. Uh, so there's something caller has said that I don't know what I've said that okay. I don't know what that means, but okay. I mean, I've been for 15 years. That's fine. We can talk offline if you want, Pam. I don't want to.
I
Please
don't
don't like.
see Pam. Where is Pam?
Uh,
I'm way behind.
just saying there are some things caller said that are not hunters, especially military canines. DDC has been my virtually since birth, and canine with. Well, I mean, maybe your department's different. I don't know what branch of the military you're in, Pam, but I'll be happy to discuss that with you offline. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. I mean, I don't know how recently you're in, but I literally,
I'll just settle this. Hey, Pam, you got something to say? Send her an email.
yeah, please don't go discredit me like online. Like I've
And
been verified
moderators,
by
just delete that shiz. Just
yeah, I
delete
mean
that stuff. Pam
yeah,
50. It's probably Chris Proudfoot or something.
I mean, literally, TBI ran a background check. They ran all my stuff, and like, they saw all my stuff. They saw my service record. Like, Bobby saw where I deployed you and whatnot. I didn't know he had access. Like,
There's no
I
one
don't.
other than Chris Proudfoot that would want to discredit you right now.
You
Like,
know, or
for real.
it's, it is what it is. I mean, it's just if anybody like wants to go look at my social media, I've been posting about being a handler since like 2008 or whatever it was. And like I don't have like these random like books in my house, just like the scent tracking and like this is stuff that like I read and like I brought this up here in case somebody wants to know a terminology. But the paint can thing. So what I'll do is I'll put like the actual narcotic in there. So like let's say I'm doing MDMA with Gator or weed or whatnot, I'll put that in the can, but I'll also put like a tennis ball in a paint can, like peanut butter, like toys, like and some are empty and I take Gator in, and the purpose is for him to ignore everything else but find the odor. And that's how like you can start with like 4 cans and work your way up to like some people start with 2 and work your way up. So that's kind of how you do that training. So that's how like with the rehab, with like the food in the rehab. I'm pretty sure that's where the picture of me and it's me and Gator. That's my gate gates.
I love it.
So I call him Gate Gates. He's such a funny dude. You'll see. I mean, he's such a goofball. Like he tilts his head like he does the most Jurassic head tilt I've ever seen.
He's beautiful.
He's a good boy. But that's someone saying I was afraid of Chris. Are you afraid of Chris pushing your dogs or hurt them if you come back? No, because I mean, no. I mean, I'm regardless of whether I'm deputized by Sumner County or whatever. I'm still a captain in the U.S. Army, and my dogs are certified canines. They're USPCA certified canines. It's the United States Police Canine Association. Gator's also NPCA, which is National Police Canine Association. I mean, they're officers. They have their little star patches and badges. They've got vests and stuff. So I mean, I'm not afraid he's going to do it because I don't think he's stupid like that. But that goes for like, and I'm not saying just he's stupid, just anybody in general. Hurting a canine, you don't ever like you don't hurt anybody for starters, but don't go for a canine because the canine handler community is getting smaller and smaller because a lot of people don't want to dedicate the time to the training.
I have a
Um,
question. This is a good one right here. Has anybody ever turned you away when they've had a missing family member? Have you ever said, "No, we don't want your help. We don't need it. We're good. Respect our privacy at this time."
In regards to missing people, no. I've never had people turn me away, but I have had, and this is just factual. I'm not talking shit on anybody for chat. very factual. The only people I've had turn me away, or if there were like somebody who was like, if there was like a child, like there was a little blind girl that was in her house the one day, and like she was scared of things she didn't recognize or noises she didn't recognize, and the father was like, "Can you just not search her?" I'm like, "No, I don't have to search her." But like once my dog was in the house, this is when Gator was in there. She kind of like started like, is that she like
You're
so talking to the
awesome.
doggy, and like she actually was like at first she was kind of like just like kind of like really I'm like I feel bad for the girl, and she was just I feel bad for her. But then that's the only time with a person. But then she wound up being just like, oh, like doggy. And like she thought he was like the coolest thing ever. She's like, he's like an alligator. She's like, is his middle name Crocodile? I'm like, no, his name's not Crocodile. Um, but yeah, that's my geek eats. I'm a good boy. But for drugs, I've had people say no. Like in a prison, I think I told you guys before. I was searching a prison. I was getting ready to search a prison cell. The guy wouldn't come out, and then like I told the corrections officer, and he's the one that the original quote from "Well, so was murder" type of deal. That's for like the guy was like, I didn't sign up for this," and then like the correction officer made a comment about like, "Well, she didn't sign up for murder either or whatnot," and then I was just like, "Oh, okay," or killing people. He said something to that extent. I told the story like a couple times so far, so like it's been so I went in and this is where some people got confused. So no, Chris Proudfoot did not kick my dog. This is the guy who did. I took Gator into the cell. Gator brought past the guy first and was just like, okay, whatever. And just like with that car video, he kind of stopped and turned back and he goes to the mattress, buries his face in the mattress. The guy said something effing dog and he kicks Gator in the face. Like kicks him in the face. And Gator kind of backed up for a second, just like what like I don't think he knew what to do because I think he knew like I immediately was just like I think he was more a meme more than anything else. The guy goes to move, he's gonna kick him a second time. Gator jumps up and starts like bark, and like he was like barking like in his mouth and like this, and it was just like I was like, oh my god. Another time something similar ish happened, and Gator got a hold of the
What'd you
guy's
do in
hand,
that
like,
moment? Were you just like calling them back?
well, no. So that's a good question actually. So for the barking thing, I just kind of like pulled him out, but the one time he did get kicked in the face, a second time, this dog's been kicked in the face twice to me now. I've never had that happen before with a
That
dog.
makes me so mad.
Um, no, yeah, but I was in the rehab facility, um, and yeah, the same thing. This guy like kicked Gator in the face, but he didn't say anything; he just kicked him. And I was just like, "Oh my god!" And then like,
On the
that's
couch.
Aria. That's
That's
Aria on the
our
couch.
ours like, dude, it's bedtime. I know it's been a while. We should wrap it up. But definitely want to have you back on again. You are
Mhm,
amazing and stuff. And
mhm,
thank you for coming up tonight. And you really, both of you have nothing to prove to anybody.
yeah,
Putting yourselves out there, it always comes with some hate.
yeah.
You just gotta ignore it.
Yeah, it is what it is. I just love this stuff. Like, obviously, like I'm looking at this, I'm freaking like I don't get like these aren't cheap. These are like not. They're like 40. The one's like 40 something. I don't know how much the other one is. But I
Do you have
just
an email that people can reach you at, Jules?
yeah, I can type it in the chat real fast.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't mind. Any
Uh,
or wherever, however they can reach out to you if they want to. I don't have an email for Steph. There's too many Seth.
yeah, they could also reach out to me on like Marley's email, probably Marley's Instagram, which is
And
the Marley
or
Navigator,
Facebook too.
or
Instagram
Facebook.
or
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, that's fine. Either way, I'm good with it. But oh, thank you, people. I appreciate your support. It's just I've gotten to the point right now where people ask me like questions like for verification. And it's just like I've reached the point where it's just so exhausting, and it's just
Yeah.
like it's really sad that people have like made these people but like and like I openly admitted, yes, I did go on Vinny's podcast. I was trying to get attention to be like, hey, I emailed you. Like I totally openly admit that. I have no problem with that. But it wasn't because I was gonna be a tattletale. I just wanted him to read what I wrote before he like got too ahead, and I emailed him a while
Mhm.
ago back when Seth was first on that show. In case he wanted to ask me like, hey, as a handler, even though I'm sure he knows a bunch, didn't Nancy Grace say her like best witness was a dog? Which is pretty cool for her to say. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
And
and I know that
I know that was a blow, when he came out and said that. But I think that, we all know that he's full of shit because he's been full of shit about everything. So I don't put a whole lot of credence into anything that Chris Proudfoot says.
it's just, I mean, it's just a shame that there's all this everything everywhere that, like, I mean, to just there's so much weird around this case, and that's a word I've been using a lot. It's just a little weird. And just
I got Steph's email. She just sent it to me. She's listening. So
yeah,
I'll put it in chat, guys.
I
You guys
trust dogs over humans too, in most,
Oh,
especially like someone said I trust dogs over humans, but I mean, I trust Jay, and but there's when I'm out in not a crime scene, but I'm out in the field and doing like something, and I trust dogs, and they're saying something's there. Especially males and like shepherds and whatnot. Yes, Melissa, we can see your comments. Um, they're very, they're very.
I need to have you on panel all the time. You're good at catching these comments.
Sorry, it says, can anyone see my comments? I'm just like, yeah, my dogs already ate, Laura, but yeah, I promise you they're fed. I promise you. It is a lot of weird. See, these are fun comments.
Oh, I told him to go to bed, and he did. I can't tell you how many requests I get. Say, I told him to go to bed, and he did. I'm like, oh my God.
She's from Virginia originally, right?
I think so. Mhm.
Yeah. I wasn't sure where she was originally from, just because like she's not. I think she's close to my age.
I think she's
She's 34. I think.
34 or something like that. Yeah.
I'm 32. So yeah,
You're a baby. Damn.
I know.
I'm old. I'm 50, girl.
I don't. I thought you were like. I thought you were like 35. Honestly, I'm not just like. I thought you were like
Oh.
35. Like I'm not even like. It's females. It's so like hard to like.
It is hard to gauge. It is. I always think everybody's my age. Like, and then I find out they're like 20 years younger than me, and I'm like, shit, I'm not that age anymore.
I had my hair like pulled back in like a bun and like this, and I had like my trench coat on. And this one girl at the gas station is like, "Did you just graduate the academy?" Because I had my army trench coat on for funeral honors.
You do look young.
I know it's one of our hats and stuff like that, but like, oh my bangs are like so.
You're adorable. You're adorable with your dogs. This is one of my favorites right here. I thought this picture. Before we go, I want to pull this back up because I thought this was a badass picture. This one here.
Let me see. Yeah, that's me.
I
Gator
love
on
it.
down.
I think
Yeah.
that's such a cool picture.
You will not believe how like they both they one would look this way and one would look straight, and then like they that was like they weren't looking directly at the camera like I wanted to, but it was close enough. I'm like, you know what?
I
That works
love
for
it.
me. And yeah, the hard times are coming. That's a company based out of California. Golden Leash or is it the Golden Ranch is they sell it's a windbreaker, so it's like for rain and stuff like that. But they have so much cool stuff. No, thank you for your support, guys. I appreciate it. 60, Joy J. I'm 60.
I know. Joy's awesome too.
See, this is like fun, like meeting people because it's just like the way everyone came together. Yes, it's sad, but like I mean, it's nice meeting other people and just like getting to know because like with COVID and whatnot, like I remember it was just I didn't talk to anybody or anything. It was just like and at that time I was in an apartment. It was just like I don't see my neighbors. I don't see what like it was going to the grocery stores. It was just like we had like up one-way aisles in Pennsylvania. I don't know what it's like other places. Someone said, "Can we?" Yeah, the dog's alerting underneath the bed. My theory for that is, I think that I don't remember which daughter it was. I think she was hiding under the bed. Maybe had a pillow or a blanket or something that she was just like I don't know. So I mean, I think she was hiding in the bed, and I'm sure once she realized what was going on in the house and what her dad was doing. I hate saying that. I really do. It's just I've never even heard of trauma dogs until recently. I don't own one. My dogs aren't trained in that. But like, it's like I said, dogs pick up so much. So, I was gonna recommend people look up something, and I don't remember what it was before. If I remember, I'll just put it in the comment box or something.
I have a question before we end. How do you decide when to retire, a working dog?
Um, so for Gator, for example, I think he's gonna be 9 in this month actually. But he's still like I know like Canine Hurricane, who was a Secret Service dog that took like I don't know if anyone knows K9 Hurricane. No, they're not from the same litter. Ours a Belgian Malinois German Shepherd mix, and Gator's purely Mal, and Gator's gonna be 9. Ours about 4. But it all depends on like
how they're doing with their cert, like mobility. Like I take them to the vet twice a year, just because like they're working dogs. I can take them to like usually pen vet.
Mhm.
But like when he really starts showing disinterest in like odor detection, because I know he loves to do that. I don't know, like I worry about him. I don't like playing fetch them because he goes so hard. Um, no, Jersey. My dogs are they won't go for food. If I tell Gator to search, he's only going to search. I mentioned this earlier. That's why when we do the paint can test, you put like food in one, a ball in the other, like all this stuff, and you want him to find the odor. And if he starts going towards like you just nope, just a very very light pop, like nope, and then like but Gator won't go near food, so don't worry about it. Boo sheet. This is Julia. Boo sheet like a ghost, like boo from boo sheet.
Bullshit.
Boo sheet.
Bullshit.
Like for like the ghost from what's the game? Mario when not was it Mario is the Boo Ghost? And
Yeah.
I don't know why I did this. Like that this is nothing. Um
Audacity 0708 on YouTube was challenging me on the dogs and said that Chris had maybe thought Jules was shady because she said her husband was with LE for 45 years, but he was 60. That's
that's
not
not me.
Jules. That's
I'm
Steph.
not we're not Ryan and I aren't married. Yeah, we're not married.
Jules' husband is on the couch over there. Or no,
Yeah,
that's I'm sorry, that's Ara.
it's our
Right, Gator.
No, I
It's
don't my
time for me to go to bed, Jules.
Yeah, I know. Let me tell my email one more time. So this is my email. If anyone wants to reach me, this is easier. But yeah, I didn't. Wait,
Thanks
I
you
didn't even
guys.
know Chris knew about Steph's husband and whatnot. When didn't you see them in person though? I thought like he confronted them in person. So when you
That's right, that's what I thought too. They were on the property.
interesting. From the first time I heard you talk, I thought you were a genuine person. You're very thank you. Thank you, Faith. I appreciate that. Actually, I have a friend named Faith who lives in Georgia. She's got a German Shepherd named Winnie, and she's like a smaller German Shepherd. She's like not she doesn't have dwarfism, but she's like a tinier and like in all her pictures, she looks really like big and cool. So I met her in person for the first time because Marley is an Instagram, obviously. Met her in person for the first time, and she's like this smaller German Shepherd. I'm like, she's so cute. And then she's just all like, what? Like, I'm a majestic queen. I'm just like, of course she is, because yeah, to the
Amazing
little
dogs.
ones. Yeah. Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out
Happy
there.
Mother's Day. Yes. Happy Mother's Day to you for
Yeah.
baby mom.
The last question I'll say is Gina G. I do feed them. I feed them half raw, half a Nook Shook 30-25 formula. And that's only because if I'm on the road, like I'm going to be shortly, if I run out of raw food, I don't want them to be like, no, I don't want to eat my food. So that's why they're on half and half. Um, so that's why they're on
How
half.
are they when you take them away from home? I mean, does that have any effect? No, they're fine.
I mean, not really. They're just kind of just like where we go. Gator will only wear his like harness, like his vest. He'll only wear his vest when I'm taking him to go do a working job. And I should have talked about this. Like they have certain. This is, I promise it makes sense. Gator only wears his vest when he's working, so he knows like I'm. This is the one like I'm amped up. And like he knows that's his working vest. Ara, same thing when she's gonna go do patrol work, like through the decoy suit and stuff like that. She only wears her vest for that. So like I do have some people think I'm nuts, but like if you make certain things cater to certain like tasks or responsibilities, the more amped up they're going to be. And that might, it's like going to the ice cream shop for like every single week and getting told you can only have vanilla ice cream. And then one time you get told, oh, guess what? You get chocolate today. And you're so excited about it. If that makes sense. So that's kind of what it's like for them with their gear and stuff.
Mhm.
So, I don't know why I keep talking about like food and ice cream right now. Like,
Because you want a snack?
I,
Snacks because snacks.
I don't know. Are they sold in bulk somewhere? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll get going because people are going to keep like
Yeah, I
asking me
know.
questions.
All right.
But
Let's
um,
close it up, guys. Thanks for coming on, Jules. I will talk to you, soon.
yes. All right.
Thank you for
Thanks.
everything. And again, thank you for your service and for sharing your
Sure.
knowledge and your videos and photos of your gorgeous dogs.
Thank you, Bree, and thank you,
Yeah,
Jay. I really appreciate. Thank you,
yeah,
everybody.
you're
I
awesome. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, go take care of your toddlers. I mean, your dogs.
All right. Bye bye.
All right. Have a good night, Jules.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye. All right, guys. We're going to wrap this up. Um, call it a night. It was a great stream. I want to thank Steph for coming up. I know that the heat is on. People are, gonna say what they're gonna say. People are gonna have their opinions, and whatever. It is what it is. We are here to talk about a missing 15-year-old. And to me, that's what's the most important. So I am a little bit frozen here. So I don't know if we're going to be able. This happens to me every time I use this program. I freeze up and I can't play my outro. So I don't know what's going to happen, guys. But thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here. If you're replaying this, please leave your comments in the comment section and let us know what you think. So I don't know if you guys can even still hear me, or if I'm completely froze. I'm thinking. Unacceptable. Can you hear me now? Totally unacceptable. Here I am. Shit. That was weird. I completely am freezing up.
La,
I
la,
need,
la,
okay.
la, la. You
I
don't
need to
hold
get
account.
myself a new computer. I think that this is all messed up. I had to refresh. Thank you guys so much. I wanted to say thank you to my moderators. I know tonight wasn't easy. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. All the new members, the super chats that came in. Thank you. Thank you. I know, mods, you're probably looking like that Barbie doll I sent you that picture of with the dark circles under her eyes, and she's all fucking looks like she went through war. So thank you so much. We're gonna get through it one way or another. Thank you so much to Jules. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, everybody. Let's keep the focus on Sebastian. That's why we're here. All right, so now we can dance it out. Go rest your thumbs, Shell. Now we can dance it out. Let's see if it works. Here we go, guys. It's going to be the extended version. Let's do this.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. Damn, damn. I don't give a damn. Damn, damn. I don't give a damn. Damn, damn. I don't give a damn. You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to friends, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time for that. Staying up